That is what I can only consider as the most adorable esports advert ever. So I'm happy with that one. Welcome back to the WCS Austin, as we are now having 3 of our players already determined for the semi-finals. And we're going to find out who our last one is going to be. I'm joined to my left by 2 people that are trying to mess around with me, as we do have Kelazhur going up against Nerchio. Yes?
If you were a cat, which cat would you be?
I'm allergic to them, so it's not a very good question, really.
Incorrect. You'd be a ginger. Next question.
Okay, that's fine.
Jeff.
There's ginger cats.
There is ginger cats.
They're called ginger cats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, Kevin.
yeah. Let's spin it around. Let's put it on me. Yeah.
You'd be a broken cat.
Yeah. I wouldn't be a cat at all. I don't even like cats.
No?
No.
There you go. Well.
Unfollow him at Rotterdam08.
That's fine.
Jeez.
That's fine.
All right, gentlemen, we have Kelazhur versus Nerchio coming up. Kelazhur has already done the unthinkable, beaten Neeb, beaten Snoot, and now he's here to try and topple Nerchio. Thoughts?
Yeah, speaking of gingers, great Terran player. He had a huge TvZ earlier, and I think Snoot and Nerchio actually play fairly similar styles.
Yeah, they absolutely use it.
Defensive into the late game hive tech, I think.
And love the combo of Fungo and Crossive Ball. So no, Jeff definitely makes a point there. But I still feel that if you think about a player that may not have the best execution in a big tournament, then you lean more towards Snoot than Nerchio. Because I feel that King Arthur in general is always solid. He doesn't really underperform, doesn't often overperform either. He's just incredibly good. We know how good he is. We put him in top 4. He's going to make top 4. He's not a guy that is like randomly going to beat Maru and TY. When you think that he's the underdog there, he's often playing like the underdog. But whenever Arthur is the favorite, he pretty much plays like the favorite, and he's so solid.
He's in just the right spot. He's the Goldilocks Zerg, I see. All right, well, we are going to go over to the stage with Smix, ready for our final semi-final.
It has indeed been a long day, Kelazhur, but it is time for our last quarterfinal match of the day. For our first opponent, he is a Brazilian Terran who looks to continue his momentum in defeating Snoot against his next opponent, the DreamHack Valencia champion of 2016. Please welcome on stage, it is Kelazhur and Nerchio!
That's right, our final semi-final. I'd love to see actual TV broadcasters do this for 10 hours long. We are the kings of broadcasting. I'll have all of those people know out there. As, of course, this is going to be a pretty good series, to say the least. Obviously, as you said, King Arthur, always there, always present. But then we have Kelazhur, kind of one of the surprises coming through into the round of 8, considering the amazing performance he's had here so far.
I think the level of play that he's brought has been the surprise. A lot of people have been talking about him for a while, saying he's a very good player. But both him and not to steal the show from him, but especially, I liked what Neeb was saying too, where it's like, I did not expect that level of play. It's really cool seeing people step it up at WCS Austin, where it counts a lot.
And they've both been spending some time in Korea, and you can really see it. I mean, Kelazhur has been a good player for a while, we said it, but in the past it often was, when he ran into somebody that's better than him, he would fall back to just 3 Rex Reapering, and if he would win with it, great, and if it didn't work, so be it. Right now he's beating those players that he didn't beat in the past, and he's doing it in the most legit, impressive way possible. I mean, I'm watching the games with Nate, and Nate is even like, his eyes just opening up. It's like, he's all over the place. He's just attacking everywhere at once. Like, if you would have told me before this tournament that Kelazhur was going to out-multitask Snoot in a late game, I would have just said, no, that's just not going to happen. Not in that phase in the game, but Kelazhur is having the run of a lifetime. There's no other way to put it.
Doesn't have to just be the multitasking either. The straight-up engagements he's taking in the middle, going up against someone like Snoot, were fabulous as well. So Kelazhur is in the form of his life.
He is. This is going to be our first time seeing Nerchio on the mainstream, who's been quietly kind of dominating in the background. Not a lot of drama with him. I believe he won each of the groups he played in, and it's just been doing very well in that way. So I just get a giggle every time with the cheese warning rating, like 17%. I love it.
Yeah, who came
that
up
one's
with
very. They've all been multiples of 5s, but that one's very specific.
It's like, yeah, man, that's like so specific that it gets a little bit weird.
You're the man who always says that I've crunched the numbers, and maybe someone out there has crunched the numbers.
That's what I'm saying. I'm feeling a little bit invaded on. Like, that is. You don't come up with 17 just on the fly. You did some crunching there, and I'm watching. But Nerchio is a defensive player. He does tend to go towards that kind of roach tech with Ravager. A lot of fungals will be had. And in a way, that's kind of cool for Kelazhur, because he already faced 5 games of that most of which was his back up against the wall with him facing elimination.
Yeah.
So if there's a good warm-up for a player like Nerchio, it is Snoot facing that kind of style.
It could have. You can of course look at it from the other way as well. You can say that Nerchio had an excellent example of what to expect because he was able to watch those series. And like Jeff said, Nerchio's had a pretty smooth run throughout this tournament. He won his group, and then earlier today he played a ZVZ against Jon Snow. It was played on base trade, just kind of a clean trio, pretty decisive. So obviously he's had all the time in the world to prepare for this series. He was able to lean back and watch Kelazhur go up against Snoot, and I definitely think that's going to help Nerchio quite a bit.
Looking at the maps here, Newkirk Precinct, one of the snap bands, and also Cactus Valley, which I think is interesting because that was a map that Snoot in particular had a very big tough time on, and Kelazhur was able to really look good there.
Yeah,
that's actually interesting because I know that Nerchio doesn't really like Newkirk. He's been vocal about it in the past. He's like, I don't necessarily hate it. He's like, I just don't win on it very often. And he's like, I wonder why. And then he was having a conversation with himself. He's like, I think it's because I'm so good in attacking from multiple angles and I can't do that on Newkirk. And I was just a bystander of that conversation that Nerchio had with himself, and I just politely nodded. I was like, yeah, you know, who's going to disagree with Arthur when he's talking to himself?
The part that it's funny about that is Nerchio's never wrong. He's like, I am so good at this thing. And everyone's like, you can't talk, like, but you're being true, so fine. You are actually that good.
Does Kelazhur, of course he has had an amazing run so far, but coming into this series, can he come in with kind of a devil may care attitude of, I've got this far, I'm going up against another Titan in Nerchio, just going to see what happens and, you know, play it in a relaxed way?
Nerchio is, and this is going to sound way more severe than I mean it to be, but Nerchio is the upgrade to Snoot. I think Nerchio is the harder opponent. Snoot is the most accomplished foreigner that we have right now, so I mean no disrespect at all. He's an incredible player.
Yes.
But Nerchio in his current form right now is the guy who is dominating on ladder. A lot of players hit him. It's him and Serral that they kind of look at and are like, okay, these are the two best Zergs, maybe even in Korea. So if Kelazhur can elevate his play, or some mixture of his play against Nerchio equates into a win, that's a massive statement to go through the two absolute best, well, two of the three absolute best.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be too relaxed. I think you're too far right now in the tournament. This is too unique of an opportunity. Kelazhur has been playing this game for way too long already. I mean, a lot of people think he's kind of new. Like, I remember him participating in IEM Sao Paulo in 2013. Like, that's like 4 years ago, right? So he's definitely been grinding. He's been playing ever since. You're not actually making it into a quarterfinal now and be like, you know what, that's a pretty good run. Like, I'm happy. And you never want to be satisfied too early. He can be satisfied at the end of the night. May it go wrong here, so be it. But you don't want to be satisfied yet. You don't want to be relaxed. You want to be a little bit nervous. That's good. But this is a unique opportunity for a semi-final. You got to go for it.
Final thoughts? Maybe a score? What are you thinking?
I like the developing storyline that is with what Special said, but also what Kelazhur's been saying. I want return on investment in what they've done. They've gone to Korea and trained. Placing well at WCS Austin would be okay, but that's not what their end goal is. It's to win. So in order to do that, you got to beat the big nasties like Nerchio.
Ready? Sure.
I still feel that Nerchio is just here to ruin the party of everyone. It's like, that's a great run, like round of applause, but then he just wins the series. So I think that Nerchio is going to take it, but I hope for great games.
We shall find out. Thank you very much, gents, as we now head over to the commentary team of Nate and Maynard for our final quarterfinal.
Oh yes. What's up, Austin? It is time for the last quarterfinal of the day, and this one promises to be a cracker. In the top left here, from OSC Root, this is Kelazhur! And in the bottom right, from Euronics Gaming, King Arthur himself, it is Nerchio!
I'm so glad that you have an infinite reservoir of passion, Maynard.
And also a whiskey-lined throat from many, many years of being in a metal band.
You are a tough man coming out of the Australian outback.
You got to be tough to live in that country. So many poisonous animals.
It certainly helps with the 12-hour broadcast day. Thank you for being here, Maynard. We are already getting into this Terran versus Zerg. I think the guys on the desk said it perfectly. Maynard, I didn't come into this tournament, by the way. We got some treasure here. There's the booty. If anyone was looking for the booty, there it is.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking for the booty tonight in Austin, and that's right there on Abyssal Reef in the back of the Natural.
So if you're watching this channel, if you're here watching this still live, you've got the booty.
Yeah, but you don't need to go to 6th Street to find it. It's right there.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm super surprised that Kelazhur made it this far in the tournament. He is a good player. I consider Diego to be a friend of mine, but he is not the guy that just suddenly becomes really good all out of nowhere. And that is such an awesome thing to finally see, because it's not like he just won. It's not like one of those tournaments where he had some crazy cheese that he beat Snoot with 3 games in a row, or Snoot was playing like he was jet lagged or whatever. You know, they
were legit games.
Yeah, and it was such a good series that I've gotten my hopes up, and I hate doing this.
Yeah, I know.
You know? I'm one of those people where I feel like sometimes in life it's important to believe that you can fix things, or that things can really astound you. And that's how I'm feeling about Kelazhur right now, because normally I would say Nerchio should just stomp him into the ground.
I'm coming into this series feeling like Kelazhur is like the cowboy with a white hat. Sorry, Texas.
Yeah.
And that Nerchio is the bad guy coming into town with his posse messing things up. And I'm kind of rooting for Kelazhur a little bit in my heart here. I want to see the underdog victory. Of course, everything on paper, you look at the history of StarCraft, you think clinically with your brain, you got to be favoring Nerchio in this series.
But you should have favored Snoot too then.
And we should have, and I did. And I did, but Kelazhur surprised me and a lot of people out there with how strong he is against this European Zerg style, which is generally quite passive, quite turtly. They like to go to the late game. They like to get to tier 3.
They like the Roaches, the Ravagers, Infestors.
Yeah, everything on the menu for Zerg.
So this game, going into it, Kelazhur opening up with the Reactor Hellions. I like that this opening is coming more. How did he get there?
This is actually a really nice move from Nerchio, delaying that start point a bit. Not only that, also getting scouting information, knowing that there is a tech lab, most likely a Raven follow-up here for Kelazhur.
I like this. Taking a page out of Major's book, or special, you know, the Raven harass capabilities are awesome. And I think it's even better to use against these guys, because you're not really going to see a crazy amount of fast muta play from these players. We talked about it. The Roach Warren's already about to finish up for Nerchio. We've talked about how they like the Roaches, the Ravagers. The Raven Harass can be amazing, but this map, nice choke points to play with to stop those Hellions. I like that he's doing this. I guess the cloak is a fake. Yeah, he's going to cancel it. And just got to be careful. Nerchio does have some Lings on the map. Not a lot to defend against this right now.
No, this is actually quite a lot of Lings at this stage of the game, with the amount of units that Nerchio has versus the amount of units that Kelazhur does not have.
Great split off. I think he might have even seen the Raven as well.
Oh my God.
Lings. Very good start here for Nerchio. He's going to... No, the third base. He gets the STV. If he forces a cancel on this,
oh, he will. Wow, this is a disastrous start for Kelazhur. We were just talking about how amazingly he played against Snoot. A little bit of a scrappy opening here for him, and Nerchio not giving him any room to breathe. He's the kind of player, Nerchio, so high level that if there is a single opening, a single mistake, he will capitalize and make you pay dearly for it.
He's very, very good. The Raven auto turret gets dropped to 2. 3
nice.
Drone kills. Might even be able to pop. Almost gets that Spore Crawler. Damage output not to be underestimated for the auto turrets, but the Ling poked in again. You know, some of these Hellions are a little bruised as well, so I'm not expecting them to go crazy far now that the Roaches are coming out. But already, very dominant stance from Nerchio. You know, puffing his chest out, doing a little bit of damage here, and smacking the attack back. Roach speed is on the way. I'm wondering if he's just going to try to go for a big Roach timing before Kelazhur even has his barracks production set up.
Quite possibly. Generally, these European Zergs, they like to be sitting on that Roach Ravager for a little bit to defend against, you know, Liberator harassment or Hellion run-bys, anything like that. Drop play, which Kelazhur is transitioning into here with Stim and the barracks being switched over here. And looks like possibly Widow Mines as well. We like to see Widow Mine play against this kind of, you know.
Double Raven, Maynard.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
It means a lot of auto turrets.
It does.
The queens are in position. But that just goes back to what I was saying before. If he wants to sit on those Roaches, on those Ravagers, it's whatever. But the Ravens, without going for Mutalisks or Corruptors, these guys are going to be flying around looking for windows of opportunity to push whenever possible. Though, nice in defense there. The Ravens are going into the main. They're kind of sticking themselves in a little bit. One of them might get picked.
Down.
Oh, God. That's not
ouch.
That is like the one reason why this build is supposed to be good, is that doesn't happen. But does get another few drones with that auto turret.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward start here for Kelazhur, and Nerchio not making too many mistakes at all. He's got the Infestation Pit on the way now. He is just basically doing the exact things Snoot does.
I feel like we're watching...
Yeah, it's like a rematch.
Yeah, I feel like we're watching the... a little bit of like a year ago before the Ultralisk armor nerf, where the Zerg player is just like, all right, I'm going to defend. Just go straight up to Hive, get whatever I want. And that's what he's doing. He's just sitting happy, 3 bases. Now he's taking that 4th. Now that he's pushed back the Ravens and the Hellions. And he's just getting the Infestation Pit. I imagine right along to Infestors.
Yeah, Infestors obviously with the fungal combo very, very well with Bile play. Lock in those units, lock in those medevacs, take them out of the skies. Who needs Hydralisks? Who needs Mutalisks? These are actually going to get a tank. And that's a nice pick off for these Roaches here, and they can continue the pressure as well. There's not too much here for Kelazhur to bring the drop back to deal with this.
Just full Savage. Now the Lynx show up. These Roaches gobbling up the Marines one by one.
It's actually too much here.
Support. He's overwhelming him at his third base. Very, very, very rough start here, and we have even more coming across the map as we speak for Nerchio. Nerchio doesn't like underdogs, Maynard.
Not at all. He eats underdogs for breakfast, Nathanias, and he has been for years now. We have Kelazhur awkwardly trying to scramble a defense here as Nerchio makes a meal of this third base, getting it to force the lift here and knocking him back into his natural while a fourth hatchery finishes up. And Hive is halfway done. Jesus. Are you kidding me, Nathanias? Nerchio is so good.
This is disgusting. People shouldn't be this good at a video game. He's got him locked in on 2 bases at 8 minutes. He's trying to re-land it now. He's trying to move out, but the Infestors are coming out. The +2 is on the way. Burrow's on the way. You said it. The Hive is about to finish up, and he's got that creep. He's got those 4 bases. I mean, it's all the balls in Nerchio's court. I don't know what Kelazhur's going to do because every time he moves out, there's always something that's hitting him back, whether it's those Lings that canceled his third or the Roaches that just pushed him off of the third.
Yeah, just those 7 or 8 Roaches running by there. That's something that you don't see Snoot doing. That's actually Nerchio being aggressive with that army, which is generally so dangerous because there's going to be siege tanks, there's going to be bio back at home, but somehow Nerchio...
only 1 siege tank.
There was just the 1, that's right.
Not that scary. So he's got these 4 medevac drop, supported by the Raven, and good. No, okay, he doesn't have enough energy for the fungal. I was going to cry. That'd be a very sad way for that game to end.
And absolutely would have ended if these medevacs went down.
You lose those 4 medevacs and the Raven to a fungal and then bile. It's over.
Zerg army on the low ground here. Terran unloading, healing up his units, getting in for a different position, but the Infestors are gathering energy as we speak.
Adrenal glands by 10 minutes.
God.
I don't even.
This is insane.
He's got everything. He went, he had a coupon for everything. He just got it all in one go.
Ooh, Kelazhur gonna possibly deny +2. Not quite. Transfuses from Nerchio and doesn't want to take the fight with those Lings there.
And he still needs to be so very cautious because the Infestors definitely have energy for the fungal now. And if you grab those medevacs, it's still the vast majority of his forces. So it's like 40 supply that you have tied up in those medevacs. You need to be very careful.
Single SCV leading the charge here for the Worker Revolt.
Another base in the top right that's about to finish as well.
That's a 5th hatchery there for Nerchio for you guys counting at home. But Ultras already on the way here for Nerchio. Chitinous on the way. Adrenal nearly finished. This is actually in range of fungal.
No.
Oh,
he doesn't.
Just outside. Just
okay.
outside. Oh, lucky there. I was holding my breath there for Kelazhur.
There is. Yeah. This game has been rough. Look at this. He starts the Baneling Nest after Ultralisks are coming out.
Why not? He's got Roach Ravager to get all the heavy hitting done for him. He's been engaging very well.
Nerchio, he swatted back to early aggression. He's just like, yep, yeah, this should be easy. Just macro up. I'm going to eat you alive. Those 4 medevacs still on the map. He's just going to kill him now.
Oh, man.
The tanks.
Catching 2 tanks on siege here, fungling them to make sure that they don't escape. And that's a lot of bio here for Kelazhur, but that is a lot more Zerg.
Good
and that's just
job.
way too much. I mean, we have a big drop here from Kelazhur, and he is getting damage done across the side. He's going to take out these Ultralisks, losing a lot of his army at the meantime while he does. And on the other side of the map, looks like Nerchio maybe getting cleaned up finally by Kelazhur.
Yeah, I mean, Kelazhur's able to get a couple of good fights here. I like that he's finally able to do something with this drop, but goddamn, those Ultralisks are going to do a great job of pushing him away. Chitinous plating finishing up. 5 more Ultralisks are coming out with +3 Carapace. And the Spire's going to be done soon, so we're going to see Corruptors, possibly that push straight into Broodlords if he doesn't want to get the upgrades. But Kelazhur, I think the most important thing is that he gets the 4th base. Get that 4th base, hold on for dear life, and find a way to keep harassing because this game has been accelerated to the late game at a very, very quick pace, unlike a lot of the other TvZs that we've seen so far this weekend.
Yeah, we were at tier 3 before 10 minutes. It was like pretty insane here. Nerchio's still in a lovely spot, but as a Terran, if you get that 4th base, like Nate was saying, you get a planetary up there, you're not dead yet. You can still hold on for quite a while. Meanwhile, the Zerg is taking the right side of the map. Kelazhur going to go for another drop here, see what he can get done. Maybe in the natural, maybe in the main. Nerchio's defense has been pretty good so far. That said, his army seems to be all the way out here in the middle of the map at the moment.
Yeah, that's weird. I like that our observer is actually so good at spying that stuff. Meppo, you're a god. I don't know why that Marine's hiding around the blue crystals, but This drop's going to get cleaned up inside of the main base. Fusion Core is on the way with another starport. Kelazhur, if he's done one thing really well that I love seeing Terrans do, it's make that transition into ranged Liberators. Still one of the most broken units in the game. As a Terran, I love them.
Yeah.
They can get you out of so many very, very weird spots.
And there are some maps where they actually cannot be dealt with unless you have air units. It's pretty nuts.
It forces the
nice drop
here. Great drop inside of the main base and rips apart a lot of these drones. Good use of the burrow to save some of them. And the Corruptors should be able to get rid of these medevacs. So I think this is one of those situations where the army does just slowly build up into being something that's incredibly, incredibly hard to deal with. These two Liberators run smack dab. He doesn't infest with the Corruptors, though.
Bungle going down on these Liberators, and the Biles will have a thing or two to say about them.
Rest in Parmesan for those Liberators. They are done.
Ooh,
that one
does escape. Oh, wow.
Barely makes it away. Okay. You win this time, Power Rangers. Okay, so Greater Spire is about to finish, and that also means that Broodlords come into play. I think we've seen enough of the disgusting Infestor, Broodlord, Corruptor, Ravager, and then eventually Viper play. Very hard to push through. You need to be so careful. This is a tight map, not a lot of space to run around. I actually, now that I think about it, I'm just getting deja vu from that Snoot match.
Yeah, very, very similar. And Snoot actually ended up winning on Abyssal Reef versus Kelazhur as well. Nice bungle here. Bye-bye medevac, bye-bye units.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, and the army supply of Kelazhur, as close as it is to Nerchio and as well upgraded as it is, still just not as high-tech and not super good against what Nerchio has.
So yeah, I got enough Corruptors, dude. These things have insane hit points. They're very hard to target down. Missile turrets weren't even ready yet. So boom, 2 free Liberators for Nerchio. Very expensive, very important units. Liberator range is on the way. I do not believe he has any ship weapons, though. No ship weapons for the Liberators.
Yeah, just +1 for the tanks here. And the tanks are kind of starting to run out of steam. And it's not really tank time. It's kind of just Bio-Liberator at this point.
Yeah, the utility of the tank isn't very important anymore because, A, the Broodlords are going to cause you to splash yourself. And then, B, it's more about needing that supply for other things to deal with the Broodlords, the siege tank, or the Ultralisks and everything else. Like, tanks aren't really good in this situation unless you have a ton of them, and then the Broodlords just destroy you.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's more of a Roach Ravager time of the game unit, and then
you don't want the Zerg attacking you. You want to be pulling them around and running all over. So I can see having a tank or two. But yeah, okay, there we go. Ship weapons does boot up. Very, very important, especially if he's going to think about building Vikings against this army composition at any point.
And, I mean, he's like, what do I deal with? The Ultralisks or the Broodlords? They're different tech paths here. Do I want Liberators? Do I want Vikings? And he has to pull back to this planetary, and that's a lot of liberation zones, Nathanius. So Nerchio can't go in here efficiently. He's taking it easy.
They will help clean up the broodlings that we see littering your computer monitors at home.
Yeah, sorry about that.
As they fly up towards. It's a messy map, guys.
Oh, this is nice.
Yep, and that's where you use the Liberator range to a good degree. Unfortunately, the Corruptors were already on their way back, but 4 drones, pull the army away, helps. The creep spread's definitely another issue. Being a small map, fixing that creep spread and getting it up there is really not that hard to do. So let's see what happens. He's got the Liberators sieged up.
Oh,
actually, are running through, but the Biles.
Yeah, the Biles are pretty fantastic. A bunch of the Infestors and Ultras went down. The Liberators, though, from Kelazhur's scan. That said, though, his army just completely evaporated. The Ultras splash damage those Kaiser Blade Cuddles, taking out all of that bio units, and the army supply of Kelazhur dwindling here. Half the supply almost of the Zerg.
Nerchio playing a masterclass ZVT. I have not had a good idea of what Kelazhur should do at any point in this game. Nerchio has been all over everything. The Broodlords are here. There are no Vikings to deal with them. The bio is dead. The Ultras are underneath. And he's just ripping into them.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you let that missile turret kill the Broodlord, that might be one way to get one of them. But no, it's gone.
I feel like you need 3 or 4 starports at this point. Like, you got to make Vikings and Liberators deal with both the Ultras and the Broodlords. It's both 2 tier 3 tech paths here for Nerchio, shredding apart Kelazhur. GG! Nerchio taking game 1 in a very dominant fashion.
That was a very, very rough game for Kelazhur. He got destroyed. The Hellions were not able to do anything. He had the early Lings that got inside the base. He blocked the starport from landing. He canceled his 3rd that he was building in his main.
And then the Roach attack, killing a tank, killing a bunch of fire units, forcing the drop to come back home, which he shredded with his units.
The 3rd to lift off, got rid of the SCVs and the mules again. That was about as perfect as it really could have been for Nerchio. I mean, he even got one of the Ravens, which are supposed to be untouchable.
Well, they can get touched.
Today we learned.
Today we learned. Now, Kelazhur, to his credit, did manage to put up a pretty good fight in that game, all things considered. With how horrible that early game started for him, he did pick up his pieces and make a game out of it. But Nerchio was definitely in a lead from pretty much the early game onwards and didn't throw it away.
Yeah, I think a really important thing to keep in mind in this scenario is that Nerchio does, as we said before, these European guys like to play this more passive, a little bit slower style, and that is what it's like. If you're a Zerg player and you want to play the late game, it's like, oh, this guy's going to throw away some Hellions? Okay. He's probably got his third CC on the way. Oh, I canceled that. Okay, so he's got to rebuild that. That's 100 minerals down the drain. So his barracks is probably delayed now. His engineering bays are going to be delayed. Well, what does that mean? Oh, yeah, I could just go straight from an infestation pit. What is he going to do? Attack me with unstimmed Marines? No. And Nerchio gets all the way up to his hive of 7, 8 minutes. His adrenal glands done by 10. Just great play by Nerchio and phenomenal recognition of what he could get away with after he held that early pressure.
Absolutely right. And you couldn't have said it better. This is a masterclass from Nerchio in Game 1 in ZVT dominance, but series is not over yet. In the top right here, send him your energy. This is OSC Roots, Kelazhur. And in the bottom left, Euronics Gaming, Nerchio. With the dismissal of Showtime, you have to be thinking that Nerchio is a favorite for the whole thing at this stage, but gotta say, Neeb looked incredible on stage as well, Nathanius.
Yeah, I gotta say, Nerchio's become a player that I've started to like a lot more and more. You know, initially, when I started commentating StarCraft 2 from my dad's living room, my PC 4 or 5 years ago, it was Nerchio playing, you know, in dream hacks against guys like 4GG and literally 7 roach rushing off one base cross spawn whirlwind 3 games in a row and winning because 4GG was just a guy who was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, Nerchio, why do you even think you could do this? He's like, this guy does the same thing every game. Like, it doesn't even matter if his build's bad on this map because he'll tell himself there's no way he's gonna do it this many times in a row. And he was also a bit known for being a bit more BM in those days, but in the last year or two, I really like the personality that's come out. You know, he speaks out a lot more about what he thinks about the game, and I still don't think he really pulls that many punches, so I'm glad that he's also pretty honest about it, and he's really had an awesome path towards being accepted as one of the best players, if not the best player in Europe.
It's Nerchio's brain being downloaded into that computer right there. It cannot handle it, not enough disk space.
Man.
Now, you're absolutely right. I think since being picked up by Red Bull, Nerchio's kind of become a new man. He's a really, really cool guy to see in tournaments. He's funny. He actually makes some pretty sick jokes sometimes.
Yeah. I heard he had a really...
Twitter lights up sometimes. It's actually good fun.
I heard that he had a really good interview with, after he won one of his earlier matches, I think it was earlier today or yesterday on the Base Trade channel as well, something worth checking out. I think I saw it up on the StarCraft Reddit, but, you know, these guys are humans too. Well, I mean, in a game he's a Zerg, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
right?
I feel you. Reaper coming in here for a little bit of damage. Doesn't quite get that drone. Nerchio can turn that into a spore to save it, and he does. So Reaper getting denied here from any scout. It's the kind of the power of taking your front natural instead of the back natural here.
I think if you're a Terran and you build a Reaper on this map, you need to, it's like going to see a bad movie. You have to be willing to accept that the movie's gonna suck. And that's the only way that you can enjoy it. If you're gonna build a Reaper on Proxima Station, you need to accept that it's probably not gonna do anything because there's no cliffs to jump up to go anywhere.
Yeah, this is probably the poorest Reaper map in the map pool.
Yeah, this is actually, in my opinion, the worst Reaper map ever. Just because it also doesn't cross the map faster than like a Hellion or anything, because it's just, there's no cliffs even in the middle of the map for it to go up or down to get across to scout. So he pokes, he doesn't do a lot. At the very least, he knows it's not a roach rush or something like that. So there is still value to be had in having a unit in front of your opponent's base.
So Kelazhur is doing the same thing from the last game, feeling like he can make it work this time. Well, I mean, this time he doesn't have a Ling blocking his Tech Lab starport.
There's definitely a couple of unforced errors that do not need to happen again, which would allow him to do a lot better. But in a situation like this, I love this map. This map lets you do so many strange things. I think this map, I think the Liberator range rush is like borderline broken on this map. We've seen guys like Young pull it off in the GSL, so good players do it too. I know I like my crazy strategies.
Not just meme streamers.
Yeah, you know, even memes are based off of great foundations. It's very important. but solid pressure here. Denying creep tumor is nice, but yeah, if you know that once you lose the Reaper, now if the Hellions take damage, they don't just regenerate.
Yeah, that's right. And also the KDA Grenadier, the Reaper, makes things a little bit tougher for Zerglings to get the rounds and that sort of thing. So it's like a little macro trick, but it is just Hellions with the Raven coming across the map now. Raven a little bit slow to the party, but will get there eventually. Second Raven to follow up as well. And if Kelazhur does a little bit better of a job with the Raven, I can see a little bit of damage happening here. In fact, the Hellions looking for the drone line. Do get 2 drones.
He's getting a bit feisty. You know, he's done a lot of poking on these queens. And if it weren't for the fact that 5 roaches are about to come out because Nerchio is so damn good at this game, I would say just send the Raven to the front and help use it to kill the queen and bust through the front with the Hellions and force out a lot more lanes. And that's where the Raven is. Okay.
Oh, get the queen there.
I like it a lot. The queen is still here, though. The other queen's still there. If both queens were together, I think that auto turret gets a lot more utility. But, yeah, definitely some nice solid pressure. He hasn't been lambasted like he was in the previous game, not pushed back in some terrible way. You know, we know he's playing bio. He has the extra barracks coming in.
Yeah.
I don't expect any of the Terrans in this tournament to play mech. I was surprised that Special did it. But, yeah, he doesn't need those Hellions, is what I'm trying to get across. So he can throw them away if he sees an opportunity to do so. Go for it.
Yeah, it's falling out of fashion for sure. Second Raven is already out here.
2 Ravens.
Yep, second Raven here for Kelazhur.
It's a greedy play, but I like it because this map has a lot of hidden airspace. You can just chill, and nothing should be able to get you, Maynard.
Queens have pretty long range, getting some hurt on. And it looks like auto turrets in 2 places at once here.
Yeah,
Nerchio taking a bit of damage. 4 drones going down for just energy spent from Kelazhur.
He almost got the queen. Well, I think in the case of the Raven, it's still very important to see the opportunity cost. He could have had his engineering base a lot earlier for that 200 gas. So I like the Raven opening. The double Raven versus Zerg, I'm a bit hesitant on. I only like it for TvT because it 2-shots everything in TvT. Like at least like, you know, the Marines for most of the attacks that you're going to face at the start of the game. Marines and SCVs.
It'd actually kill a tank with an auto turret if it doesn't get interrupted as well.
Yep. And I think that's more important because those games you have much more aggressive starts. But for TvZ, it's kind of like the greedy man's harass because you know he's not building a spire, which is the reason why I don't think it's bad because he can just do this.
This is nice,
forever.
actually.
But don't forget, Maynard, there's a hive starting. It's 6:30. Well, yeah, in the game.
It's like 10 p.m. What are you talking about?
It's 10:30 here.
It's been a long day, but the games have been so good that my energy, for some reason, is still inside of me. We have a hive here on the way for Nerchio, like Nathaniel said, very, very early. Screaming into tier 3.
I still love this. The most important thing about this and the way that he can set up on this map is that the Ravens can just chill. The one that's behind the main has the choice of the main or the natural. And all this means is that if Kelazhur can hold up his multitasking and his micromanagement, when he starts moving out with his drops, when he starts going out and being aggressive, those queens will leave. They will come back to defend against these attacks. He will have to devote all of his resources to defending dedicated pushes, or he's just going to take insane damage at the front, and that's when the Ravens can come drop those turrets in. And as Nerchio, you have to be able to micro in 4 places at once.
Kelazhur is actually doing a great job this game so far, I have to say. Oh, nearly losing the Raven auto turret. Not quite, though. Auto turret's finding an opening, getting down another queen kill.
And I don't think it's bad if the turret kills the queen. I would try to focus it. He does actually focus it to get that drone instead of shooting the roach. I wouldn't try to shoot the roaches with the auto turrets, but if you can get queens or drones, you know, those are your biggies. Those medevacs, very, very weak, but this is what I'm talking about. The queens aren't here to help push this away, which gives him this opportunity to get some more damage done.
Kelazhur doing a nice job with his drop, targeting down those Ravagers. Nice pick off there.
Yeah, really good. He still has the Ravens there. They're still just chilling.
They are, and he has a supply advantage over Nerchio, who's taking so hard. And Nerchio's making roaches, and he has more army supply as a Terran.
Yeah.
This is great for Kelazhur at this point. There's the Ultra Scaven. Caesar goes down and gets more drones for his trouble.
You know, I'm going to tell you, I feel ashamed that I know this, but if you drop an auto turret next to an Ultralisk Cavern right as it starts building, you can kill it. Or Spire. I'm a very bad person.
You're a bad, bad man, Nate. You're a mad lad.
That's one way to put it.
Gotta,
He's pushing out towards the middle. We're still a little ways off from the Ultralisk. The creep spread has been completely shut down because he's only been focusing on this, but Infestors get one of the tanks and the Viking.
Yeah, it's a nice fungal there, getting that tank and that Viking. Doesn't quite kill the Viking, but killing the tank is very nice. That's a lovely fungal from Nerchio, oh boy.
Not having combat shields also makes this a lot more dangerous. He's close to having it, but he's not quite there yet. Raven Harass, still going. 17, 18 kills on this bad boy. The robot of death.
and 10 on his counterpart there in the back of between the natural and the main.
This is what happens if you don't build a Spire. I love playing against guys like this, but unless they're Nerchio, in which case, no, it doesn't work.
I wouldn't love playing Nerchio every day.
No.
It would hurt a lot.
Zergs who don't build Spires, my best friends.
Ultralists are on the field. He's going to have a pretty strong ground army soon. Nerchio's army supply starting to get up there a little bit. But the Terran army is not too shabby either. We've got 2-2 on the way. Marauder production's been on the cards for a while here for Kelazhur. He's nearly supply block, getting a couple of those supply depots to make sure he can keep that production up. Still producing tanks as well.
And you want to keep up the harass, but you have to make sure that you don't harass yourself, Maynard. Build those supply depots, get to that 200 mark, and use the fact that you've been tearing at your opponent this long to your advantage. But the tanks are on siege. The Lings are kind of hitting it from the back a little bit here. The Infestors are on the low ground. Needs to be cautious. If he gets sandwiched, it's going to get disastrous.
Yeah, big clump here of Terran forces.
Oh.
Could be fungal. Looks like a flank from Nerchio, possibly. Bruce sticking out one of those tanks. Nice pick up there for Nerchio.
Good focus fire on the Infestors. Gets one of them with almost full energy.
Yeah, Marine's being caught here. Looks like Nerchio wants to catch the reinforcements here. But he really needs to concentrate. This is actually still a scary push from Kelazhur if controlled correctly. It's like one fungal nearly left on that Infestor there.
Yeah, I do think the focus fire on the Infestors has been amazing. The Ultralist Roach flank, though, Maynard, comes up off the right side. He's got rid of the Infestors. He can pick up and fly away. That is your reward, Kelazhur, for beautiful focus fire. No Infestors, no fungal. Get the hell out of there. He's got his 4th base finished up, and he's ready to play ball.
Yeah, Kelazhur having a very, very good game here on Proxima Station. Going for a drop of the main. Of course, we know that Spire is done now. It's going to be Corruptors very, very soon coming out here for Nerchio. Drop at the main, getting met by too many Zerg units. Gets deflected. So many Ultras, oh my god. Yeah. Kelazhur's going to find that a tough nut to crack. The +3 is on the way here for the Zerg. I don't think Chitinous has started just yet. Let's check the upgrades.
He's got the Chitinous.
He does have Chitinous, okay, great.
Yep, and with the +3, that's when you reach your full beast mode. Unfortunately, you know, as a Terran, you always try to capitalize on things like upgrades, but it's very hard to do that when the Zerg literally rushes to Hive in the first 7 minutes of the game. So, yeah, I think can't really blame yourself too much there.
Can't fault him. 3-3 on the way here for Darren.
Careful, May. The fungals.
Yeah, energy left now for Nerchio. Can fungal again. His Infestor count is not super high. He's only got 3 at the moment on the map. Kelazhur coming in with a lot of Marauders, target firing that hatchery.
He wants to focus fire on the base and get out of there. He does land the fungal, and that will be enough to clean up all of these forces. Okay, no, he saves a few of them, but he gets fungled again. No.
Wow.
Survive.
Leave.
Survive.
Oh, it looks like his attention's being taken elsewhere. The Roach Warren going down to this little push here from Kelazhur into Nerchio's base.
Oh, the Corruptor's coming out. Oh, that medevac almost jumping into the death bus there. He does clean up the medevacs that were on the west side of the map, so Kelazhur's presence has been routed and now must fall back. He's got the Liberators coming out. 3-3 is still very close, but Nerchio, he is on his way to that deathly army that we saw him destroy Kelazhur with last game.
And no Great Aspire just yet. Interesting. So it's going to be a while before we see Broods, but Ultras Corruptors with upgrades are still pretty scary with that Infestor combination. It's the combination with the Infestors that makes it so rough for Terran.
Yep, it's basically, it's your net to catch the very, very fast one running through, but the Corruptor's here now. He's like, Stimmy's like, okay, just fly to my main base, just run off. Not much you can do here.
Some boys left behind, unfortunately.
You got one of the
Sacrifices in war. Yeah, it's a nice pick off. And you got a little setup here. Looks like Kelazhur getting that 4th base in a safer location. Taking the gold's a little bit rough.
Is that another Roach? Or he loses Roach Warren?
He lost the Roach Warren in the natural.
I'm like, that's a fun build when it's Leenock and you're getting both upgrades at once, but this game's been going a bit crazy. Just trying to keep track of everything. So 4 Liberators being built at a time. He's getting his ship weapon upgrades, fusion core. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's going to be a very good anti-ultra countermeasure. Once again, this happened earlier in the series against Snoot, where Kelazhur just didn't have reactors on these extra starports. He wanted to be producing straight away. I feel like this is okay for now, but reactors definitely need to get on there at some point. He doesn't want to get them like that last time.
He's very fortunate that Nerchio does not play this like Snoot, and I only say that because Snoot uses a lot of Vipers with this as well, and we haven't seen that yet, or the the critical mass of Brute Lords. But that removes the need to make a play like going into Ravens. Being able to spam out Liberators like this to support your army is definitely one of the best ways, because you just need to force the fight somewhere that you can fight underneath those Liberators and then kill everything before the Corruptors are really a factor.
Yeah, this is a pretty scary army here for Kelazhur. +1 ship weapons about to finish as well. VCC nearly done at that 4th base location. Once again, Nerchio with this run by here, looking for reinforcements and picking them off. There's a fair bit of his forces down here. He will lose his hatchery though, because there's just too much terror at the moment. His army's pulled back to the his soft underbelly, I suppose. His vulnerable bases that are so much more important to him.
Yeah. What's he got in the back there? Okay, so he's pushing through, doing a little bit of harassing. Okay, the Corruptors are poking from the backside. He does have 3 Burrowed Infestors. Okay, he gets one of them with the Marauders, but they're all stuck.
Yeah, they're going to escape and get healed up here. I'm not sure what his medevac energy is like, though.
Ooh, almost forced that friendly fire shot.
It's actually
tank.
very, very low in
He's
medevac.
very low on his medevac energy. That's a good thing to bring up.
And low on medevacs in general.
Only 3.
Yeah, and he's making 3 more back at home. Again, no reactors on these starports. He can certainly afford it.
And this is the hard part of playing Terran versus Zerg late game. You need the medevacs because you want to drop. You need the medevacs because you need to heal. You need the Liberators because you need to actually kill the ground army. And now you need Vikings because he's got 7 Broodlords on the way.
That's right.
What do you build? How many do you build? Can you dodge the fungal? Can you dodge the bile?
Those are all questions that Kelazhur will need to answer for us, Nate.
Those are the hard questions of StarCraft 2. He has that Ultralisk Zergling flank set up. He's trying to take the gold base.
Double expanding, actually.
Happening here. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do if he can get away with it, but I mean, I don't see this base standing up very well to this many units. His army's not in position because he's about to get attacked at the gold. So this right side base, DED.
Oh.
And in the middle, he drops the scan. I think he sees just a couple of these.
Yeah, looks like he's picked off something there.
Oh, he catches the drop.
Yeah, Fungals catching those medevacs there. Well, one escapes. When he runs out of boost, it'll get taken out by the Corruptors, but and they're on the chase.
Yeah. Oh, it should be able to at least unload. Okay, those Lings do spot that bottom right base. You just build planetaries everywhere. The best way to beat an army like this is you have to try to be faster than it. This has actually gotten a lot harder to beat because as a Zerg player, the hardest part of this and all the previous expansions of StarCraft was, well, it's a big map. If I move out, he'll flank me. Man, Corruptors have been hitting those treadmills so hard in the last few years. They are fast. They can catch these medevacs much more quickly than they used to be able to. They can catch the Liberators much more quickly, and that makes it very difficult to try and stretch the Zerg thin. However, that is with the strategy that will be necessary here, unless he walks all his Ultras into Liberators.
Yeah, losing an Ultra for nothing there is Nerchio. A small mistake from him, a little bit uncharacteristic, I would say.
Oh,
and he's actually on the chase here with his bio.
Don't get baited. Okay, so the whole army, yeah, he's basically just saying, all right, you're all sieged up there. Sounds cool, bro. I'm going to come over to this base and just kill it.
The CC's in a bit of trouble here. The Corruptors can definitely snipe it out of the sky. Looks like he definitely wants to kill this bio, get those medevacs. Banelings rolling in with a fungal combination as well.
I just noticed he doesn't have Baneling speed. That's awkward. But at the same time, there's nothing to deal with the Broodlords. Most of the Marines are dead. The Vikings get fungaled, and they'll die at like 1 or 2 biles after that. There's a bunch of Corruptors here because he has Broodlords. And the Broodlords just going to keep wailing away. Yeah, he has no answer to the Broodlords at all.
Yeah, the Broodlords probably going to seal the deal here for Nerchio. Kelazhur doing what he can across the other side of the map. Nerchio has the entire left side of Proxima Station here, and Kelazhur is dug in here in the top right, trying to make the dream come true. But it is looking rough for him as time goes forward.
He's holding on for dear life. He's got a lot of Vikings in production, but the most important things to keep note of right now are the positioning of the Ravagers and the Infestor energy, because the fungal growth is what really makes those Vikings so impossible to use. The Corruptor count is quite low, so there's a chance here. He's going to try to get these Marines underneath the Broodlords, and if he stays with Planetary, that's definitely a big win for Kelazhur. I honestly thought he was going to lose that central base. Really good job holding on by the Terran.
Yeah, saving that base means that he can stay alive in this game. This Burrowed Ling going to make things a little bit tough for the CC. Not going to drop without units to be able to clean up that Ling. Needs to get a burner scan as well. The Viking count getting a lot more healthier now. He's making 5 at once.
Yep.
He's getting up to, he's got 6, so he's going to go up to 11.
And I don't personally like the Viking dealing with some of these types of armies, but there's a lack of Vipers. Yeah, there's not a single Viper on the map. No parasitic bomb means that Vikings en masse are actually good. You still have to worry about the fungals, but there's only 1 Infestor, and there's only 1 Ravager. So
it's not too many Ultralisks either. Only 2 on the field at the moment, with 2 more on the way.
He's building 2 Ultras, yeah. The economy has actually been spread reasonably thin, it feels, by Kelazhur. So kudos to that, because I think that Vipers are insanely good against Vikings, but there's none on the field, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
This CC is going to go down on these Corruptors here. It's going to be tough to save that one. Kelazhur knows that Nerchio probably wants to hit in a couple places at once, so he's keeping his army at that fourth, which is at that gold base, which is so much more important. CC does go down.
I like this gas imbalance that's being created for Kelazhur. He has the option to just hold on to it, but he could also get a couple of Ravens out if he really wants to. They won't be as good once the Ultralisk switch back happens, but Ravens, if you get the upgrade for their Seeker Missile range, it will not only do 130 damage instead of 100, but it tracks up to like 20, it's like 19 range away.
Yeah,
There's very few units in the game that can run away from it if you use it close to the other unit.
Maybe a Ling. Or one of these Marauders stuck on the other side of that barracks.
That Marauder's been there all game. He's the one who lives. You think it's a bad thing, but he's actually very happy about it. So this is where you get to see no parasitic bomb. The Vikings can kite. Corruptors are fast enough to chase the Vikings and still shoot. But I think it might just be more on the numbers side of things because the Ultras are killing all of the Marines that are trying to support from beneath. And that is definitely going to make things very difficult because while the Vikings are shooting those Corruptors, the Broodlords kill everything else. GG, Nerchio goes up 2-0.
Strong game from Nerchio there. It was a little bit precarious. Kelazhur did a great job for the first half of that game. Really dictated the flow, which he needed to do against someone as strong as Nerchio. Doesn't want him to get an early game advantage. He certainly made sure that didn't happen with a Raven harass, which was fantastic for him. Gave him a good opening, room to breathe to get harassment happening. But Nerchio's got that small smile on his face. He's got that little smirk right now. I can see it on screen. Where he's like, I'm one map away from the semifinals, and I think I have this.
I think this match is starting to go the way that a lot of people thought it would. Kelazhur has tried some playful stuff, but the double Raven is just not helping. You know, the thing is, Nerchio has not been hit with a dedicated enough attack to make him actually think about changing his path. Building 6 roaches is not something that you do to kill somebody when you're on 3 bases. It kills the Hellions. It keeps maybe the Ravens from being too antsy. The Queens push the Ravens away. But if you're not hitting him with something really hard, it seems like Nerchio is just like, okay, you want to kill some drones with the Ravens? Cool. I'm going to just build more drones because I'm on my way to Hive. And you haven't been able to stop me with doing that. So I like Kelazhur's army positioning. The composition he's going for is great, but he's having a very difficult time getting inside Nerchio's base and actually slowing down that rush to Hive. That 6-minute, 30-second Hive is something that is so difficult to stop, and it hasn't honestly been something that Terran players have thought about since the Ultralisk had 8 armor, really. It's a very interesting thing to consider.
Now, we're going into Honor Grounds next here, Nate. Now, does Kelazhur change things up for Game 3? Because it looks like his current build, his current aim of going to that late game hasn't really been working out for him here.
I don't think it's necessarily the way he plays the late game. I think his strategy is good. His gameplay is good. It's the early game punch that he goes for. The Raven punch is not strong enough to knock somebody off kilter in a way that can actually stop him from just comfortably getting whatever he wants.
You think that 400 gas is better put elsewhere?
I mean, this is one of those situations where I feel like a really well executed 2-1-1 could actually do very well, but maybe he just builds more roaches then. I don't know. Do you try something really crazy like a Cyclone Hellbat opening? And I feel like anything that forces him to at least stay on the lair tech a little bit longer is a big win because he's just gotten up to Hive in the first 7 minutes, 2 games in a row. If he's able to get up to that Hive comfortably by the 10-minute mark in this game, I just don't see how Kelazhur is going to stop him because instead of spending and wasting money on Roach Ravager, he's just dumping all of it into Broodlords. Doesn't even need more than his first 4 or 5 bases to get what he needs.
Well put. It's all on Kelazhur to make the dream come true here. All right, Austin, this might be the last map of the night. If you don't want that to be the case, make some noise in the bottom left for OSC Roots, Kelazhur. Looks like they want more StarCraft, Nate. I don't blame him.
StarCraft's pretty fun.
It's a good game.
So I've been told.
Contender for the best. It is the best. In the top right, from Euronix Gaming, this is Nerchio. He is the Disney villain. He is the Jafar, the Ursula.
He's your Gaston.
Is Gaston? No one zerks like Gaston. But
no one gets Hive in 7 minutes like Nerchio.
Now, it's cool that you mentioned the 2-1-1 because there's actually the map where Kelazhur did whip it out against Snoot. and it actually didn't do the timing didn't really hit super well, but the drop play with the bio and being in two places at once and just being in the Zerg space all the time really worked out with him.
A 2-on-1's a figured out build, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not anything special. At this point, if you want to learn Terran versus Zerg, it's Babby's first TvZ build. Like, if you can do 2-on-1, you can vary it, you can tweak it, you can change it. And then the other school of thought is, you know, the people that like to open up with still Reactor Hellion. And I still think I love that a lot. I know a lot of these guys have been using it in this tournament. Certainly a much more popular build. I've seen some Koreans have been busting it out lately. But that gives you your early map control. You know, the biggest weakness of the 2-on-1 is that you're like, okay, well, the other guy can just kind of do whatever because I've only got a couple Marines. I can't really do a whole lot if he's aggressive. Whereas Hellions can deal with the Ling pressure. The Hellions can put on pressure. They can punish greed. But the greed that Nerchio's going for is he's got an extremely middle-of-the-road build, and he's a very intelligent player, so if he sees that there's nothing really coming his way, he won't build those roaches. He'll have the Roach Warren, and that's where the problem comes in, where you're like, how do I abuse this strategy if he is just so on top of everything?
And he is going to be the 2-1-1 from Kelazhur. We see it coming down here. Second Rax going down, second Gas going down. What is that down there?
That's the Giant Stone Zealot, looks like. One of them from the third campaign mission in StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. You have to kill it. That's the mission where you get Marauders. I don't know why.
Oh, right. Yeah, actually, that rings a bell now.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Campaign Marauders had slow AoE. I know that for some reason as well.
Oh, really? Reaper coming in here, seeing the spawn location of Nerchio. Nerchio all the way in the top right spawn here. Normally, that's good for the Zerg. Has a lot of room to breathe, can react to what he sees across the other side of the map. Reaper coming in here, not going to get damage done, but is going to at least have a look and see what's up. Maybe even delay the third a little bit, but the Queen, nah, never mind. Big Mama Queen here to shoo away that pesky Reaper.
Yep, and if there's a map where you expect to be able to rush up and get everything going, by the way, it is that 2-on-1 out of Kelazhur, then Honor Grounds is the map to do it. And as much as I talked about the 2-on-1 on this map, cross-spawn, he is going to have to work his ass off to make it do something, because I tell you what, if he goes for this drop and it gets swatted back immediately, he may as well be dead in the water just because of how well Nerchio's played in this series. He's not making mistakes. So Kelazhur is the one that needs to change what he's doing. Nerchio, I'm pretty sure he's going to do the same exact thing that he's done all 3 games so far, or the last 2 games at least.
Yep.
I expect him to go up to the infestation pit. Once he gets his lair, I expect him to give this Roach Warren, build a few roaches. He's gonna get his lair right now. There it is. He's just going to cruise straight to the top, and he's basically saying, hit me. See what you can do.
Yep.
I'm not gonna change my build. I'm comfortable. I know I'm better than you. You're an NA player, and I don't need to make any changes. You are the one that has to pull something crazy out of your hat if you want to be able to beat me, and you're gonna have to do it 3 times in a row now.
I think that's exactly Nerchio's mindset right now. If I know King Arthur well enough. The Link's coming up here on the ramp, seeing a ball of Marines. He knows exactly what he's up against. And, I mean, you can lock it down tight. Even with the Roach tech that he's going for, if the Roaches are at home and not across the map, he'll be fine against this drop. But the thing, like, when you do a timing, like, the way a timing works is that you try and hit when a whole bunch of upgrades line up and when a whole bunch of units line up. And if it doesn't do work, then you're behind. If you don't get damage done, you're behind.
Look at this map vision from King Arthur as well. Like, you're not going to be able to get around without him seeing you. You should be able to spot you. Yeah. Lynx just saw the medevacs in the middle of the map. So he already knows that he's over there. He's like, okay, well, he's probably going to try to land either outside the third base or in my natural. But, I mean, he's not going to swing around the right side.
Ooh.
The Roaches are here. Ooh, they are a little ways away. I do like this. This is exactly what I was talking about, but how much damage can he actually get done? Killing the third doesn't seem like it's going to be doable. Getting a few of the Roaches is nice, but then the Queens are working away on the medevacs, and he is routed back. Now, what is the follow-up? Does he have another double medevac drop coming? Is he going to turn this into a big push? Does he have the third on the way? Third starting. He's got his 1-1 on the way, but did he build 2 more medevacs behind this? No.
Just 2.
So he invested his resources elsewhere. He does not have like a Muslim follow-up where he just immediately goes for another 2 medevacs, goes straight across the map, and tries to hit him again.
It's also a Maynard follow-up. How you get those 2 medevacs straight away.
It's probably a normal follow-up, but I mean, there's only so many Terran streamers, right?
All right. Looks like the drop play going to happen again here for Kelazhur, but Nerchio in position with those Queens. This is not going to do anything. He pulls back out here. Spore Crawler's going down as well, just to make things a little bit easier for Nerchio, locking it down as he goes up in a hive. There's an Infestation Pit on the way. Second Evo Chamber coming down as well. And Infestors already on the menu for Nerchio.
Yep, and this is basically, this just goes back to what we were talking about. He is still continuing on that path. However, the one thing to note is that there's not a hive on the way yet. If it starts at 6:30, then he's still on pace to hit all of the benchmarks prior. So this is what he needs to do, is to slow this phase down. Okay, he starts +1 melee.
Interesting.
Still no hive yet. He's got those 2 infestors. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Kelazhur is forcing Nerchio to make an adjustment in his strategy because he has a big army, and Nerchio does not have a whole lot to deal with it. He doesn't have a fungal growth yet, so it's just upgraded Marines fighting against roaches. This is, you know, even if he doesn't win this fight, this is what Kelazhur needs. He needs to slow this game down.
And he's doing a great job of it, engaging these roaches here, doing a great job of these upgraded Marines, killing the Overseer at the beginning of that battle as well, making sure that the mine is protected at the back here. He's not using it to retreat though, and it looks like, oh, an Infestor getting picked off there. Oh, second Infestor nearly getting picked off. It's so low, he's gonna drop on it. Get him!
2 brothers drop from a medevac. Okay, woo, you got him.
I actually am happy to lose a medevac if I get 2 Infestors. Absolutely happy with that. Very, very nice pickoffs there from Kelazhur.
That was really nice. So the hive starts now at 7:30. And this sets everything behind a whole minute. And we also have to keep in mind that because he killed a lot of those forces, now Kelazhur is going to set himself up and try to go for another push. Unfortunately for Kelazhur, Nerchio is still very freaking good at StarCraft. He's got the supply advantage, but it's mostly in roaches, right? It's not in those big valuable units, especially since we know he killed the Infestors. And I like how this game has played out so far for Kelazhur. The supply is inflated by the roach count. If he can take another good fight or 2 and keep beating them back, that is his path to success and his path to victory for this game.
Yeah, he is going to be ahead on the upgrades here. Infestors still being rebuilt here by Nerchio. He does need to get that count back up. But getting those 2 Infestors at the very start there, it's critical for Kelazhur. That means, hey, if I go for more drop play, I'm going to be pretty safe here. I don't think I'm going to get locked down by a bunch of fungals.
Yep. And, you know, it's the beauty of StarCraft strategy. And, you know, you try to teach people the game and understand that the late game tech, as scary as it is from Nerchio, only comes out the way that it does because Kelazhur is not able to put enough pressure on him to do something else earlier in the game. So this delay on the hive means the ultras aren't ready yet. The kill on the infestors means he doesn't have a lot of fungals to play with. This is another big opportunity for Kelazhur to make a play, kill some tech units, possibly shut down a base, and set himself up for a much more even fight later on when those ultralisks do come out.
Fair number of roaches with some ravages and support as well to get rid of those widow mines. In fact, they're pretty good at taking out medevacs if they get fungaled as well. Ultra Cavern already on the way here for Nerchio. Halfway done. He has already started melee upgrades instead of putting money into roach upgrades.
Got a big army moving towards the east side while that double medevac drop makes its way towards the main.
I like
this is a crucial moment. If you flounder here, you could be eliminated from the tournament. You must make a big play. There's the drop. He sees the roaches. If he's able to unload all of them, he might be able to fight that, but he's more focused on this fight that's happening on the right side. It is still a very, very important fight. It looks like he's actually bringing the medevacs back as a form of cavalry for these forces that are out here defending.
Yeah, it feels like he needs all of his forces in one place to take the fight against Nerchio here to try and stop the clock before the ultras come out and make things really rough for him. There is still, looks like 1 infestor with a bunch of energy for fungals here. So that's not super, super scary, but it is still very scary. There's plenty of ravages to get a bile combo down and to take out this unit.
You only need 1 fungal on all the medevacs, Maynard, and it is a sad life. Wow. Was that like a showboat? He put the changelings on the mine before he blew it up? He just wanted fireworks, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Those changelings didn't deserve that.
Plus 3 on the way for Kelso. Oh, a doom drop into the back.
Yeah,
Natural. Wow.
Well, there's an ultra there, so no. The mine lands. Okay, gets some links, but the Baneling Nest, the Spire, everything's slowed down significantly compared to the previous game. I do not even believe we have the adrenal glands. Nope. So all of the things are... Everything, even if Kelazhur is not really super far ahead in this game,
my God,
great fungal by that Infestor. He's in a much better position to work with this, but I mean, losing big chunks of supply like that are certainly going to give up whatever position it is that you think you gain. And he's going to step back. He's trying to fight. He's trying to get to that off-crate position. And that lack of fungal, ooh, that was his last one right there all over the army. And he didn't have fungals to spam, but that's why Nerchio's a god, because he doesn't need to spam them to kill everything. That was actually, he just lost like 40 supply.
Yeah, that was an incredible engagement for Nerchio, to say the least. Using every single fungal to maximum utility. pushing back Kelazhur, keeping that fourth super safe, and Kelazhur again finding himself in a situation where he's around 150 with Nerchio approaching maxed, and tier 3 is out for the Zerg. He's got 3-3 on the way for his units here, but I haven't seen Liberators just yet. I haven't seen a Ghost Academy just yet. It just seems like he doesn't have an answer for the Ultralisk here, except for a lot of bio. But unfortunately for him, the Ultralisk are very close to getting fully upgraded.
Yep, that Greater Spire's coming in too, which is going to help supplement all of this.
Oh, nice.
+3 Carapace does get that nice base snipe off, but oh, the fungal all over everything. The Link's coming in from the back to hold him in place. And oh, if he had one more fungal. Every infestor that we've talked about that's either died or used all of its energy has added up to this moment where that one fungal wasn't there to end the game. So it's a couple of small victories in this game for Kelazhur, but can he stop this army is still going to be the big question moving forward in the next few minutes. And the Greater Spire is down. He's making the transition to Liberators. He's getting his Widow Mines. He's got 3 tech labs building. I think those are on barracks by the 3rd. Yep. So notice how he hasn't taken all of his geysers either. He is not interested in turning this into some crazy tech game. He wants to build a ton of Marines and Marauders and shove them straight down Nerchio's throat.
Well, see if Nerchio can swallow it all. He's got plenty of Zerg here. He's going to take down this medevac. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It does go down. Bunch of supply goes down as well. And there's that Spire. Nearly done here for Nerchio. He's already got the Greater Spire, so he can get double upgrades if he needs. Nice pick off there for Kelazhur, getting that gold upgrade, gold base start rather. And he did get a hatchery a little bit earlier, so he's knocking Nerchio back in bases, but another one being made at the top. And Kelazhur realizes he wants to engage this. The Liberator's actually helping out a whole lot for the Sky.
And not a lot to kill the Liberators. And Kelazhur takes a resounding rally back towards Nerchio's expansions and cancels that fifth base that he had out there. The Banelings are coming in though. The lack of infestors has hurt Nerchio so much. Oh, takes a step forward into the Banelings. Not really where you want to go.
Yeah, unfortunately these mines not off cooldown yet. Ooh.
Sweet Terran dreams are made of these.
Yeah, the Banelings pulling back here. And Kelazhur going to resituate himself with some reinforcement. Liberators coming to take that high ground. This is an awkward situation for the Zerg. He needs to try and go for some flank. Going up this choke with these Liberators leapfrogging here with Widow Mines as well is very, very cost inefficient. It looks like Nerchio's going to go for it anyway with all these Banelings.
Crashing on through the Widow Mines, trying to get a few hits, clears out a lot of it. And Kelazhur looking at the supply. He's managed to take the lead, pushing into this army once more onto the breach. Ultralisks taking a lot of damage, one of them very close to dying. He needs to focus fire that bad boy down, but there's not a lot left here to support the Ultralisks, and with that, these Liberators raining a ton of fire. They have been cleared out, but you know the most important thing is Kelazhur still has everything running back home. He has not been counterattacked. Planetary Fortress holds strong, and he's just going to keep pushing. I think Kelazhur is in a position where he might be able to break this, especially considering that there's just not a lot here for Nerchio. He doesn't have the money, doesn't have the larva. He can't build a whole lot left else to deal with this.
Yeah, his bank is completely gone here. It's a really good point, Nathaniel. I mean, this bio is getting very, very low. If the Ultras close the distance, they can take them out. It's going to hot pick up here, go to the high ground. Smart move there from Kelazhur. Liberators get taken out, but the mine's hitting true. And he's got double the army supply of Nerchio right now, with Nerchio struggling to reinforce.
Yep, an absolutely amazing game out of Kelazhur. You know what? I don't like to my own horn this much, Maynard, but I really, really like that he picked a much sharper timing to try and hit at the start of this game, because it has caused a amazing domino effect where he is just in this position where he has brought this relentless pressure, brought this relentless damage, and I do think that he's going to be able to at least take this map. I don't really know what Nerchio is going to do to catch him off guard, because all he has are Ultras and Lings.
He doesn't have Infestors.
Yeah, no Infestors, and there are Liberators on the map. There are Medevacs, and more than enough Marauders to kill these Ultralisks.
And hatchery goes down. Nerchio knocked back into the Stone Age with his economy here. He doesn't have the lava production. He doesn't have the bank to seal the deal, whereas Kelazhur producing like a madman with 3-3 bio here in huge numbers, taking out these Ultralisks, which are off creep here, taking a bad fight. It's just too much here from Kelazhur. How does Nerchio stop him?
I feel so proud of this guy. This build, the adjustment, everything that he did in this game worked so well, recognizing why the Hellion pressure just isn't enough versus a player like Nerchio. And this is it. This is his last fresh base that he has to work with. The main's mined out, natural's mined out, third is pretty much mined out. And, well, try putting workers there, see what happens.
See what happens, I dare you. Infestors finally coming out here for Nerchio. But
by the way, shout out to these Widow Mines. The way that he played this game, like he could never actually push through and clear them all out. So he's got his flank covered for free. GG.
GG. And Kelazhur still lives, getting a map in the series here. The dream remaining alive for the Brazilian Terran.
And that is instantly going to go down as one of the best games that Kelazhur has put together. And that's saying a lot, considering that he had some of the best games I've ever seen him play in this tournament against Snoot earlier. He made the adjustments. He didn't take the gas on the third or the fourth because he knew that the relentless, non-stop pressure once he started going with that 2-on-1 was the only way he was going to beat him. If you let Nerchio sit back and get those 6-7 Infestors, build up those Ravagers, get the Brood Lords with the Ultralisks, you are done. Don't really have much else to add to that, to be honest. I think that Kelazhur made the necessary adjustments. The only question that I have to ask myself now is, why did neither of them veto Paladino Terminal?
Yeah, we'll be seeing Paladino Terminal for the first time in this tournament.
I actually think we can go to Game 5 because I'm not a betting man, especially having lived with Roddy. But I got to tell you, Maynard, if there is one map where Kelazhur can build a ton of Reapers and absolutely destroy Nerchio, it's this one. I don't know why Nerchio didn't veto this map.
He wanted to get rid of Newkirk Precinct.
Does he know? Like, I imagine that he might try a Ravager Rush, but Reapers can actually, if you open with Mass Reaper, can actually deal with that. But that is such a funny thought. Kelazhur, of all people, you want to give him the shortest map in the pool.
And here
it's a
we
bold
are.
move, Cotton.
Bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays out for him.
Yeah, all right. So now I'm a bit interested to see Paladino Terminal. Whoa,
yeah, this is.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've seen it in the tournament. Definitely on
This is
screen.
the first time. This is the first time we've seen it here. I'm sure that at some point in an earlier stage, someone maybe had like some crazy YOLO build on it, but honestly, I'm very excited to actually see a game played on this map. I didn't think we'd see it till the finals because I figured everyone would veto it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if Kelazhur can use this map to his advantage. I'm sure he will, or at least attempt to, against Nerchio, who's been in this situation before, where he's been up 2 games, and, you know...
It's just funny because normally I would favor Nerchio in 99% of situations, but if they're playing on Paladino Terminal, I like Kelazhur's odds. The way that he's playing, his aggressive style, like, you're not hive rushing. You're not going to rush to a hive on this map, Maynard. Anyway, we're ready to go, ready to kick off game number 4.
All right, let's do it. In the top left here from OSC Root, this is Kelazhur. And still on match point, in the bottom right, from Euronix Gaming, King Arthur himself, it is Nerchio.
You like these jams? You like these jams, the intros?
These jams are all right.
I know you're a musician yourself, Maynard.
I am. These jams are not bad. They're okay.
You like drums, right?
I like big drum. Did you say big drums?
Big drums.
You mean like diameter?
I don't know. I could do this. I was a trumpet guy, so.
Oh, a trumpet guy. Actually, I used to play saxophone.
All I can do is the Mr. Skeletal theme. But what I would like to know is how both players will approach this map, because as we said, it's like the shortest map in the pool. I can't say shortest map ever because Legacy of the Void has changed my perception of what that can be with things like Ulrina. However, very smart of Nerchio to open up with a spawning pool first. And Kelazhur, if he plays a standard game, I still don't even mind it because it is such a short map that he will be able to just roll with the punches. Nerchio probably has this map vetoed for ladder, so I'm going to imagine that he maybe has a build he uses against greedy players, and he might try to use that here just because you can't play greedy on this map.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
He needs to do something more aggressive than what he's been doing before. Opening pool first doesn't necessarily signal aggression. It just means, hey, I don't want to just lose the game for free to some sort of proxy barracks build, which isn't coming. I'm surprised by that, honestly. Kelazhur was talking earlier in his interview about sticking to his guns when he played versus Snoot. He said, I played the builds I had for the maps. What build do you have for this map against Zerg other than 3-Rax Reaper? Apparently, we're going to see something different out of Kelazhur.
Apparently, and it's looking like the Hellions that he went for in earlier maps here, which of course generally end up being later and end up making a longer game. But this is Paladino we're talking about. We have to keep stressing that this map can end pretty fast here. We just have one Reaper coming up the main, having a look-see, not going to go down. And, you know, that Mass Reaper, we've seen Kelazhur whip it out one time on Cactus Valley against Snoot, and it worked out pretty well for him. But, yeah, he's just going for his standard build here.
Yep. And the Marine is here to defend behind that Reaper. push the Zergling back. And 4 Roaches on the way. So I'm wondering if this is going to be a big Roach play or what exactly it is that he wants to go for. Like I said, this is not a map where you should just be chilling and hoping for the long game. You can do it, but it's, you know, even with like the chokes that you have to work with, stuff like Medivacs will allow you to get across so damn fast.
This is cool. It's a little bit different. I thought this is Hellions here, but this is actually looking like Mind Drop from Kelazhur, and he's getting a bunker back at home as well because he knows that Roaches are on the field with this Reaper Scout. Does he have enough to stop the Roaches, though?
I mean, the bunker isn't really that way. I mean, you know, people have cheesed with bunkers so many times in StarCraft 2 that if you try to build one reactively on a map this short, it may not finish. And this comes back to probably what I think is one of the best things you can do as a Zerg on this map, which is just the Overlord at this position is invisible. You actually cannot see it as a Terran. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it. So it knows where everything that you have is. So if your SCVs are at the bunker, it knows which side they're on. And this allows the Ravagers to dance around. And if he moves it up a little bit, he can also throw biles on the reactor, the supply depot. And this is extremely annoying because this is just one of those things that you actually can't really do on any other map. Not like this.
Wow, this is actually really nice damage here from Nerchio.
This is why I have the map vetoed.
Yeah, I also vetoed it. It's not my favorite. Not gonna. I can't say that I'm too upset about seeing it go away for Season 2.
Yep, Fast Viking, definitely like it. Solid way to push it back, solid way to deal with this. Keeping the SCVs on the bunker is very smart because you don't want to encourage the guy to go for some crazy stuff. But look at the Reaper on the third base, blocking, saying, yeah, you're going to be committed to something crazy just like me. And he'll take the third base in the center instead,
I like
decreasing that rush distance even more.
I like the Banshee. Oh, misplaced hatchery there, costing Nerchio 75 minerals.
Yeah, Banshee is a very smart move versus Nerchio. Just think about the lack of anything that he has to deal with it. Like, the Queens are nice, but it's also a good way to kind of get a little bit of map control. The Ravagers can't deal with it that well. Force the Spore Crawlers as well. Oh! He is aware.
Yeah, he's looking at that Viking. Nice control there from Kelazhur. It's not too tough to move that Viking out of biles, but you got to have a look at this Viking while hitting all those beats back at home. It's the tricky part.
And then you look at the map vision for Nerchio, and you're like, okay, well, he's got these Ravagers that are out on the map. If this Banshee were to run into them, that would be most unfortunate. Thankfully for Nerchio, the Banshee's not going to run straight into them. However, oh, K throws those biles. He doesn't have Overlord presence. The creep spread's not really moving. He doesn't have the Ling presence. Because of the way that this map works, he went so fast with the Roaches and is just rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it doesn't have that high ground vision either. Can't hit those supply depots or reactors anymore. And here comes the Banshee. Overseer already done for Nerchio, though. So Cloak's not really going to make a difference here.
He doesn't have a Spore, just using the Overseer because he knows that he has the detection. And the Banshee just focused, fired out a few drones. He's like, yeah, well, I'm not just going to run away. I want to get something with this and then just back off. So not a bad move either in this position. The Overseer is going to go and scout. And I guess, like, since you don't expect it to be some crazy investment into Banshees, this could be like a +1 roach speed, big attack timing. If he throws down an infestation pit and goes for Hive, I would still be shocked. This map is just not conducive to that, but maybe he thinks he can slow things down enough. I don't know. Big Marine tank push seems to make sense out of Kelazhur based on what he has. Stim almost done.
This Banshee getting a little bit low here. Kelazhur has to be careful. In fact, he could lose it to these Queens on the back here.
I think it's going to get sniped. Queens have so much range. Rip. Yeah.
Rip. Single Banshee still alive, but one does go down for its sins.
There's the infestation pit.
Wow.
Okay. So both players are, I guess there's just so much on the line. Neither one of them really wanted to try to play the map in a crazy way. I respect that Nerchio still opened up with those handful of Ravagers because I do feel that it gave him a slight edge at the start. Although the delay on his third certainly wasn't all that amazing. This just leads to a very interesting game.
Yeah, I mean, Kelazhur has an income advantage for a little while here, considering he's, you know, he's going to drop this CC and get that advantage here. Now, starting that tank production, he thinks he's up against Roach Ravager. That is the case, as we can see in this production tab with our caster cams. Got 5 Roaches on the way, +1 on the way for the Roaches and the Ravagers. So he's committing to this unit composition for at least the time being. But we know that they're going to be infested shortly here for Nerchio. And this map has plenty of choke points. Plenty of choke points. So yeah, it is a dangerous unit comp.
And you just think about it, small maps favor siege tanks because they just have so much range, right? But with the Queens moving across as well and this tumor spread, it seems like he wants to try and make a play. There is that one tank. He's going to move forward, try to get on top of this. There's the Biles. They're going to pick that tank off easy peasy. And the thing is, even though he's like, oh yeah, I can just retreat, he's sequestered off the third base. But this big drop hits back on the third base. And I don't think in a situation like this army doesn't have enough roaches to actually push through.
No, this is terrible for Nerchio. I think that Kelazhur getting this third base and heavily supply blocking Nerchio, getting all those overlords as well.
Oh my, yeah, he got all of his overlords. He can't build anything. He's got 5 overlords in production. If these Marines weren't so drugged up on stim, they'd have enough health to kill these roaches and then everything else. But insane attack by Kelazhur, and Nerchio, he doesn't have anything.
No, like he doesn't have an army. He has 16 supply and something, but there's not enough to deal with these Marines. If there's 3 Marines, gonna have forced him to tap out, and we're going to game 5, ladies and gentlemen.
I have...
Is it 1 a.m. yet? What is the time?
It is 11:15 p.m.
Damn, there's been a lot of StarCraft today. That's right, sit down. Don't you dare get up from your seat.
Nowhere.
Yeah, you get nowhere. We've got 5 games here in this best of 5. You know it. It's been the formula of the day.
Honestly,
after
the sad start to this match where Kelazhur basically tried to punch a brick wall and shattered his wrist, he shattered both of his hands. He had to resort to using his feet in game number 3, which actually works pretty well. And then in game number 4, because the map is so small, it was just a full-on wrestling match. Apparently, Kelazhur is good when things get down and dirty. He is able to make things happen, but game number 5 is not going to be played out on some ridiculous, crazy map. It's Belshir Vestige. It's another nice, normal map that is pretty good for both races, I think, in ZVT for a lot of different reasons. So it's... Oh, I think this starts to go back in Nerchio's favor a bit, but he's got to have that confidence, right?
Yeah, I mean, Kelazhur is getting momentum here. He's won the last 2 maps in a row, and he's going to be feeling good about that. He does still seem to be a little rattled every time the camera's on him, but it's just the pressure he knows. He's 1 map away from the semi-final and getting, he's already at his career best right now. Can he keep the ball rolling? Does he let it ride?
I like that you mentioned that. He has that violence, that speed, that momentum carrying him through as he was able to pick up 2 very scrappy games in a row. And this has to be it. If there was ever a moment where he could convince himself that he could win this match, it's right now. And sometimes believing like that is all you need, Maynard. We are loaded in to the final game, barring the most ridiculous draw ever, which totally won't happen because it's going to be midnight soon, between these 2 players on Belshir.
That's right, in the top left, winning the last 2 maps. This is OSC Roots, Kelazhur. DA God. And in the bottom right, from Euronics Gaming, this is Nerchio.
And now if you're Nerchio, I think the most fun part about this is you can tell players' attitude, how they're feeling based on the builds that they're doing, Maynard. Because if Nathanius is in a good mood, he's Battlecruiser rushing you, Raven rushing you, and Liberator Range rushing you. If he's in a bad mood, he's doing Cyclone builds and all that. If Nerchio is in a good mood and he feels confident, he's going for this very, very vanilla Roach 3-base opening into his Infestation Pit. And, this Roach Ravager Infestor with the Brood Lords, it all flows very nicely. It's very difficult for Kelazhur to beat that when he's able to get there comfortably, but we had to see that little bit of adjustment. He went for the earlier pressure because of Paladino after that first loss. And now this game, I am interested to see if he will try the same exact thing, because if you're Kelazhur, you already answered the question of what do you do after the first 2 games. You just hit him a little bit harder and make sure that the attack is strong enough to, at the very least, what happened on Honor Grounds? Delayed the Hive by literally 1 minute, and that made the difference because the tech wasn't there to deal with his parade push off 3 bases because he had to build more roaches earlier on to stop him. So I expect Kelazhur to play very similar to Honor Grounds, 2-on-1, but is Nerchio going to make himself vulnerable in that very same way?
Nerchio is taking an early game econ hit here to get that pull first just to be as safe as possible. These two Lings circumnavigating the edge of the map here. Looking at it, they want to try to avoid the Reaper, get into the natural, maybe poke at the SCVs or something like that, just to be a little bit annoying. But he is just being so safe here. And what does Kelazhur go for after this reactor on the barracks? Looks like it's going to be a factory.
Yeah, I like this. It's a 2-on-1. It's a 2-on-1 out of Kelazhur. And this is a build that is known for being able to hit that timing. And there's a couple of things that, because of the way Nerchio's played, that he's able to write off pretty easily. Those namely being all-ins. Nerchio's been very, very set on this 3-base setup for basically the whole entire time. Even on Paladino Terminal, you have a Zerg player that wants to get a 3rd base. So it says a lot about where their priorities and their goals are. He believes he's the better player. He is in most ways. It's hard. You can't say that Kelazhur is a better player than Nerchio until he somehow pulls off this miracle of an upset that nobody would have predicted. But he has to just stick to his guns. If he does anything weird, then maybe Kelazhur does something weird and he loses because of that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
the mind games that could possibly be in this series now for this final map, I find fascinating.
Reaper in here, still alive, taking out these Lings in the middle of the map here. And we do see that the stim is on the way, Marine's getting produced, and we're going to see double medevac very, very shortly here from Kelazhur, ready for that drop play. And once again, Nerchio going for that Roach Warren. Tried and true.
Yeah. So those Roaches, very good at defending. But we definitely saw the lair timing doesn't always work out that you have Roach speed, which is important for dealing with those attacks because the Marines will cut you off the creep, they'll push your creep back, they'll hit your 3rd base, and then the drops start going all over the place. Important things to note, when Kelazhur did this attack, let's remember that he doesn't go for the 3rd and the 4th medevac. So Nerchio just needs to make sure that he has enough to deal with this push. He should probably try to be greedy behind it if he doesn't expect the 3rd and 4th medevac attack, because what Kelazhur did on Honor Grounds was he got his 2 medevacs, but then he went straight into the E-Bays, the 3rd Command Center. He did not go straight for a 3rd and 4th to reinforce or hit another point, which is another thing that he could change. But you have to keep all of this in mind because he's not dominating Kelazhur anymore these last 2 maps.
Yeah, in fact, the last map was very heavily in Kelazhur's favor, I feel. Like he was kind of wearing the daddy pants the whole time, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
This drop coming up across the map, missing one Marine.
It's a medically official term. The
yeah, it is the official medical term.
Yeah. So the lair is going to be finishing up pretty soon as the Roaches begin to pop. How many Roaches will we go up to? There's 4 in the production, 5 done. So 9, I can see it if the Queens are there. SCV versus Zergling. Who wins?
I think we knew that answer.
Yeah. Don't try to fistfight wild animals, ladies and gentlemen, watching the stream. It doesn't work.
Speaking of fighting wild animals, we've got the Marines engaging the Roaches here. Probably could have gotten a couple more, but that's okay. Kelazhur decides that he doesn't want to take any losses, pulls back, or any more losses rather. Pulls back, re-heals his Marines.
And as I've read Kelazhur like a book, he did go for the 1-1 in the combat shields. There are no more medevacs even in production yet. He's just now starting his next set, so he's more focused on taking this game further. He doesn't want to try to end this off 2 bases. Does get 1, 2 Queens. Ooh,
3 Queens.
Oh, baby. That is a very nice grab because I was pretty sure he's going to lose that.
Yeah, me too, man. I was getting very worried with Kelazhur there.
He rolled the dice, and I think you can see there the confidence that he's gained in this series because if he was nervous at all about this, you pull back. You're like, oh, okay, I don't want to lose my medevac with the Queens. But he's like, no, I'm going to kill it. It's not going to be a threat.
I've got you in my sights.
Yes. I love the evolution of this series. This series has a lot of very fun things to think about in terms of how you approach beating someone who's unstoppable. And the reason why I say that is because game 1 and 2 were just so disgustingly one-sided once it got down to that late fight. And you would have told yourself there's no reason why Kelazhur should have won game 3. It was a giant map. Nerchio had all the tools at his disposal to get up to Hive as quickly as he wanted. And Kelazhur basically said, I'm getting destroyed. I'm supposed to lose. And then, no, just turned it on.
And he's starting to push into the 3rd here. There's a lot of Roaches and the Ravagers helping out a lot, so the Marine count is getting thinned out here. He has to pick up and leave.
And I tried to focus down the Ravagers. He got that one to like 2 hit points, something like that. But the Hive is on the way. He didn't delay it as much as last game. It's not the 6:30 Hive, it's the 7 o'clock Hive. But is that going to be enough now becomes the real question. Nerchio dealt with this a lot better than he did the last game. The 4th base is on the way. He's getting his upgrades. and there's an Overlord defecating on his third.
That's right. Zerg creep stopping him from getting that third landed there. I'm pretty sure he made it back in the natural. He hasn't floated it over just yet.
Nope, it's part of his wall. The Marines are going to clean up, and there we go. Now it's coming across.
Yeah, we got to drop it pretty shortly here. I like that he's scanning, taking out creep tumors here, just making sure that Nerchio doesn't spread out of control. He is getting his 4th hatchery on the far left here. All the units of Nerchio smartly positioned in front of it, as he knows this needs to get up for him to have a strong position as he gets the hive tech up and his upgrades getting up there as well.
I really like that the 2-2 is about halfway done for Kelazhur. I like this focus on upgrades. It is a very big deal, you know. The Terran bio units are the ones that don't have all this armor built into them. Like Marines have 0 armor by default, but the Roaches have 1 armor. The Ravagers have 1 armor. If you fall behind on upgrades, it is very easy to deceive yourself into thinking that you can win a close fight when in reality you're losing like hundreds of damage per attack wave from your forces across the enemy.
Infestors have joined the fray here. One of them out and looks like it has enough for a fungal in the middle of the map at the Zelnaga Watchtower. And Kelazhur is going for a giant drop towards the main, outside the vision of Nerchio here. There's no huge Overlord spread or anything like that. It's tough to do that when there's medevacs with Marines in them all over the place. So this drop is going to get into the main.
Yep, and these forces kind of poke towards the main army on the left side. But, ooh, good split here from the army. The thing is, if he's able to if he had all that, you know, unloaded and was able to just get a straight up fight, then that's certainly one that you want to take. But now he's drawn the attention of the rest of the sharks in the water as they make their way towards that tower. If he steps too close, one fungal on that medevac clump could end the game. Oh no, oh, he's flying north. Is the infestor's not there? Okay. Ooh, by the watchtower, I was very concerned. Yeah, he does have a fungal available.
Couple, actually, I think.
He could have thrown the deep ball on that one.
So close to denying +2 armor as well for the Zerg.
That would also have been a giant pickoff for Kelazhur.
Decides he didn't want to lose too much. He really didn't want to lose that medevac and all those units
look at this
to the
army
fungal
setup that he has. I like that Kelazhur has realized, oh, there's no creep spread on the right side. There's no overlords on the right side. So we just play. We play ball on the right side. And normally as a Zerg, you're like, okay, well, he wants to kill my furthest expansion. Nope, not the case. That's the most protected point. But he's got this attack still headed to the left and putting all the chips in the basket for this big, big doom drop in the main.
And this one's going to unload here. The Roaches weren't completely in position. So with this unload, Kelazhur can absolutely engage this army, and he will completely tear it apart in the main. And here come the Big Daddy Ultras. Looks like the mines actually softened him up a little bit. A lot of the army is down. The main base is going to go, and Ultras goes down as well.
No chitinous plating yet means this choke point in the mineral line, he can actually rip through. Killing the Ultras at this phase is so damn nice for Kelazhur. He's ripped apart a lot of these forces. There's still another army engaging on the left side of the map, making its way to that 4th in the midst of all of this. There are the Widow Mines and Marines and Marauders stepping forward, trying to pick these off. 2 more Ultras on the way, as well as 2 Infestors and 2 Ravagers. Chitinous plating is about to finish up. Kelazhur is clawing his way back into this one, Maynard.
He's doing a great job, Nathaniel. These upgrades really coming in clutch for him in these engagements. A couple Widow Mines here. Could definitely sort out this drone line and maybe some hatched units as well if they get closer.
That is one thing that has been a really big impact on this series. These Widow Mines. These Widow Mines have actually been able to just chill everywhere. Imagine if he... He got one of the Ravagers. Imagine if he had gotten both Infestors.
Yeah.
He could have targeted. Could have happened. Could have happened.
He sees these Widow Mines here with the detection here and the...
I didn't want to believe, man, but that cowboy with the white hat riding in. And this game, this series is much closer than it should have been, Maynard.
Yeah, I cannot believe we're in Game 5, and Kelazhur is actually in a lovely position in Game 5 against someone like Nerchio. This is certainly a new age in StarCraft 2 and WCS Season 1 Finals. Corrosive Pile's coming down, but not this sickest connections there. A lot of the bio does still live, and these mines still raining havoc in the main.
Big thing for him to keep in mind. Okay, gets the fungal and the medevacs. Does not hit the bio, though, so they can continue to micro. Is we have to think about what made Honor Ground so good. The Infestor energy was very limited because he had that non-stop aggression. Guess what, Maynard? No gas on the 3rd and 4th again because he knows exactly what he needs to win this game. Just bring that relentless pressure and the Widow Mines.
Yeah, not that good.
It's something. Those things should have been dead forever ago, right? So in theory, it's infinite value. But the Ultras and the Lings are inside the main base. Get ready to clean that up. There's another drop on the right side. And Nerchio hasn't been able to attack. Look at this. He's got some units rolling around the middle. He's got his Ultras. He's got his Ravagers. He's like, screw this. Force a quasi-base trade, I guess. But
yeah,
dangerous.
Ling's going to get some SCVs here. They head into the 3rd base. Kelazhur not controlling his army, taking a lot of damage there.
Yeah, he's very worried about this attack.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. SCVs.
The Ultralisk Hugs, the SCVs going down. That's the entire mineral line, and then some of SCVs going down.
How Nerchio is able to run a ton of Ultras and Ravagers across the map, completely unseen, and just get in the most weird position possible, completely destroy an entire mineral line of 24 SCVs. No, those infestors are going to get away too. And now these Ultralisks are pushing their way up the ramp. I don't really like that.
It's a bit overextension, I think, but...
He's a bit overextended.
Oh, they're actually going to die here. Yeah, these Ultras are dead.
The army supply for Kelazhur is still quite big, not to be deceived by the fact that he's down about 60-ish. It is pretty heavy in the workers. 43 of the supply difference is in SCVs. See, this is the part where you just scan for no reason and kill the infestors. Dude. Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Esports luck god's not on his side at this point.
I'm all hyped up. I'm
actually,
all hyped up on him now. Is he looking?
Oh.
It's supposed to be visible enough, but I guess he didn't see it. He's going to fall back towards the northeast tower, and now the infestors can become useful. I do have those fungals.
These fungals are incredible. It is a bit of a choke here, so the Ultras are finding it difficult, but the fungals are good enough, and Kelazhur takes a huge hit to his army there. And I think Nerchio can actually use what he has left to continue to press the issue, and he will.
Yeah, this is an absolutely difficult position. Kelazhur, I gotta say, I did not expect the series to be this close. He did an amazing job of getting it this far, but how does he clean up this army? Nerchio is actually taking Kelazhur's left side base. What can he do? There's just too many Ultralisks.
Yeah, and they're getting more heavily upgraded as time goes on. +3 Carapace nearly finished for them. It's like a couple of the Ultras maybe shaved off the back here, but there's still so much left. I think he got an infestor there as well. It's actually a nice pickoff, but...
Third base is dead. Natural expansion's cleared out. Dropping some biles there. The only thing he's got running is the fourth base, but he played a techless style, which means that when he reached this number of Ultralisks, he just doesn't have enough to actually handle everything. And Nerchio's going to knock this base down, lands a money fungal onto Kelazhur's army, and I believe that might be all she wrote, Maynard. A phenomenal performance by Kelazhur. Such a sick run here at this WCS. He's still fighting his heart out with these Marines and Marauders, but he has no economy behind this. He has 11 SCVs. Oh. He needs to make a punch so deep, he just cuts him straight in half. And we just haven't seen that out of him today. I don't know how he's going to do that with 3 more Ultras, 3 more Infestors, and +3 about to finish.
He needs to one-punch man right through Nerchio's chest cavity with 74 army supply against 111 army supply Zerg. That is so heavily upgraded and so high-tech. It is a tough hill to climb, to say the least.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, you want to drop the mules. You don't have the scans as often, and there you go. Another beautiful fungal.
That fungal is incredible, and that is going to seal the deal. GG. Nerchio comes back in Game 5 and gets himself a seat in the semifinals.
After one hell of a day, ladies and gentlemen, a sick finish to a series of amazing, amazing games. As far as days of StarCraft go, this has been one of the most epic I think we've ever had in WCS history. So many astounding matchups, so many astounding results, and, you know, an amazing performance by Kelazhur on top of all of it.
All right, let's go to the stage with Smix and the winner, Nerchio. Take it away.
Congratulations, Nerchio. You are headed into the round of 4. And the last time you were in the semifinals was actually 9 months ago when you went on to win DreamHack Valencia. So how good does it feel to be able to break that top 4 once again?
Well, it's relieving, especially after the close games, as you could see. Yeah, I'm happy.
So let's talk about those close games because it turned into a very interesting series. First 2 games was really clean cut by you, but then what do you think happened?
I actually played better than expected at first. I mean, he played really well, but in the first 2 games I was just better. And then I was kind of expecting him to lose the last map, but actually he maintained his composure and played really well. I think, yeah, well, the last map was really close as well. Relieved.
Definitely a lot of relief, and of course with this victory you're headed into the semifinal match where you will be playing against True. Now recently you've played True a lot in online cups. In fact, I think you've beaten him 5 times in an online cup in the past 2 months. So does that give you some confidence?
Well, it's hard to be confident against True. You know how unexpected he plays. I actually, didn't expect him to get to the semifinals. And if he's here, it means he deserves to be here. So I'm not gonna underestimate anyone.
All right, well, congratulations again, Nerchio, on making it to the semifinal. And guys, that will be it for day 2 here at WCS Austin. Make sure to tune in again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. But until then, from everyone here in Austin, have a great night.